Hey fellow fish freaks, Wise Guy here for Fish Behind Glass. I'm doing an episode today on rescaping this tank, how I use plastic totes to rearrange a lizard that I had in one cage. It was way too big for that lizard, and how I had a fish tank that was starting to get too small for the fish, so I switched them around. So that'll just be a quick one on that because I didn't tape a lot of it because had to be very precise how I did it in the order, and it still took me a long time, and adding videotaping in there just made it kind of a pain in the butt. I hope to do a little bit better as I'm scaping this thing here so you can get an idea how it's going to look. Well, with that, let's get on with the show. Fish bump. So for this rescape, I'm going to start off by moving some of the decor out and shutting down the power head, obviously. Getting most of this stuff out of here. I want to make sure I give this gravel a really good cleaning. I'm not going to mess with the filter. Yesterday I did a water change and I cleared out a lot of this gravel, but all the stuff underneath stuff I haven't really gotten. So I'm going to begin this project by taking out all the decor and any of the fake plants. Obviously shutting down some things, giving this gravel one good cleaning. I did a water change yesterday and got quite a bit out of there yesterday, but now I want to do it because I am going to be moving a lot of this substrate, and I want to make sure that not too much crap ends up where the fish are getting poisoned, basically. So by stirring this up a little bit, I will be keeping the fish in there. I've done rescapes before and the fish never seem to really, I mean, they freak out a little bit, but in the end they don't really seem to mind. And it makes it so that they are more careful when they choose their little spots that they like to hang out later. Once they've all been kind of scared together, they're much more docile when they start picking out spots where they like to hang out. So, okay, so we'll see how this part goes right here. So at this point I put in one rock. I've vacuumed out a bunch of this, but I'm going to vacuum out some more. I just forgot to put on the camera when I started doing it last time. So I want to make sure I get as much crap out of this substrate as I can. So I filled it back up, and I'm going to drain out some more and get this whole area over in here. And so that's where I'm at right now. Okay, this is the bit where I take a break. I gotta go pick up my kids from school and do all that stuff, and then I'll pick up the video where I left off from there. And I gotta up my phone. Okay, so it's a couple days later. And I'm pretty happy with how this came. It came out a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be. The reason why I didn't show the video of it kind of finishing out, my wife and daughter are power watching Supernatural right now, so they were doing stuff. I wasn't paying attention and didn't hit the click button on the video. So I didn't get the very end of the scape, but I let you see basically how it happened. It came out one way. I originally had this out here and this on top of there. I added a new rock here and here, and I moved this piece of driftwood up to here, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. One of the main things I wanted to show was I made this little cave. I don't know if you can see his little fin there, but I made this little cave for the pleco. I watched a video by Jef B 808, and he had a beautiful tank with all plecos in it. And so I asked him a couple questions, and I kind of got from him that when you move plecos, they don't tend to like that very much. So what I did was, as you saw at the beginning, I had that little feature here in the middle. And it took him about 3 days to finally go inside of it. He was hanging around everywhere around it. All the other fish were going in and out of it. And then he finally went in and took it over. So once he did that, then I was really moving on, making the escape done. So I have it in the corner. He went right in as soon as I got it placed. And I was able to do all of this stuff basically around him while he was still in there. And I did buy some more plants. I added this one and this one up here. And what I did was, and I added this little plant. It's kind of funny because I watched a video by Rachel O'Leary, or Miss Jinxed, and she specializes in nano type fish. She likes big fish too, like ancient fish, but she mainly focuses on nano fish. And she has on Tuesdays a really good tips and tricks video, and so no pressure to keep that going. So she had on her last video about how you can use super glue to glue your plants to your driftwood or your rocks. And she showed how to do it, and I was actually surprised. She did it in like under a minute. Just glued it, stuck it on. She's actually talking and just gluing stuff on. So what I did is I went out and got some super glue, and I tried it with this plant first. It was in my other tank, and he glued on there quite successfully. The only problem is all my fish ate the shit out of that plant for some reason this time. But I did do it again, and I did it for this plant. I had it wedged into a little notch there, and it just wasn't going to stay. And earlier I'd seen a video where somebody had gone and used cable ties to keep plants on there. So I actually went out and bought and found cable ties that were dark olive, light olive, and like a beige color, so that it would kind of match, but they still stood out. And how long do I gotta wait for these plants to grow out? And the Anubias, I don't think, is necessarily gonna grow out where it's gonna hide that. So I don't know how long it takes for Anubias or Java Fern to latch on to whatever object that it's next to. But what I ended up doing was super gluing that to that piece of driftwood, and it worked out quite well. So I got a little bit of video here that shows, and I did it in real time to show you how quick and easy it is really to do. So this has been in here for a couple hours. It's staying put. My one gourami likes hanging out underneath it, so it's perfect. It's working out, giving a little spot for different fish. So that was a great tip from her channel. So I'll have a link at the bottom for Jef B 808 and a link for Rachel O'Leary's channel. And check those two channels out. They're two completely different channels, but they're often really good for information. I got this all set up. Hopefully it looks good to the eye. I do try to stick to, I know they have the 2/3 rule. This was a little bit of a different situation, so I kind of went more with the Fibonacci ratio, which I'm going to do a video on later on down the road here, explaining what the Fibonacci ratio is, and the 2/3, and how like to set up an aquascape that looks pleasing to the eye. I know probably a lot of people are saying, oh, I hate that gravel. You know, so be it. That's what I had in here. I actually do like this blue, light blue, green gravel because it does, I don't know if it translates on camera, but it makes it very bright in here. And the reflection from the light hitting that and then coming back up again really brightens up this tank. I've done, in one of my other tanks, I've done black substrate, and that totally creates a different effect in the water. Same thing, all my tanks have a little bit different color in them, just so that I can experiment with how that water's going to look. And so with that, on to the next subject. Okay, I'm going to do this quick and dirty. My main little project here for this video is going to be taking this tank, turning it into a reptile terrarium, and then taking these fish and putting them in where I got my lizard. I got to switch these set of animals to, it makes more sense in the long run. The cage that I got for the terrarium, the aquarium that I'm using for the lizard is way too big for it. This would be better for him. These fish, I could put more fish into that tank and make that my quarantine tank, and it's a nice big tank. So, I've already started working on it. I'm just gonna show you little bits here and there of what I'm doing. So basically I've already taken all the decor out, shut everything down except for an air stone, and I'm gonna get ready to put these fish into this tub. So I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm gonna do little updates as I go along here, just so you can see how it's going, and I'll explain what I did at the time. So until the next section, I'll see you then. See, here's the tub. Everybody's in the tub. Put the lid on. These tubs work great for temporary tank. I got this bad boy all cleaned up. Just need to do a little prepping for the lizard to go in, and I'll be halfway through. So this is kind of the 1/3 mark maybe. Where I got the fish into there, and I need to get the lizard into here, and then so the lizard needs to come out of here and go into the 10-gallon. So I'm going to start prepping some substrate and stuff to go into this tank, or into the 10-gallon tank. I just need to do one more cleaning with the stuff that I used to clean the tank for the lizard, and then washing it down once with water, and then that should be good to go to start putting in, taking this stuff out of here and cleaning it and prepping it for what needs to be done for that tank. So that's this episode of Fish Behind Glass, another one down. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, comment, you know the drill. Have a good one. Peace. Fish bub.